Welcome to those that are dropping in. If you're here to stay, if you're coming here from my Instagram or Facebook or my group space, just let me know. Or if you're just dropping in for the first time, I would love to hear from you in the comments. I'm just getting my stuff together, giving everyone an opportunity to show up. Okay. Hope everyone is feeling great today. I know we've had some really intense spikes on the Schumans, and we've had some really intense spikes energetically, especially since the weekend. So, um, definitely understand that there's a lot moving through, and hopefully, with what's coming through today and the activation of the voice, we can open up and clear. Thank you. Thank you, Tommy. You as well. Thank you, beautiful. Welcome. Welcome. My name is Aowasi, and I'm going to be speaking into a few different things today. If you are new to the channel, I invite you to stick around for a little while. You may gain a different perspective on yourself and on life. Everything in this space is to support a state of empowerment, to empower you to live the best life possible, to empower you to see yourself from a space that is unconditionally accepting and receptive, which also gives you permission to see the world through a different lens. You will see the world as more soft, not so harsh, not so rough. But we're also going to speak into things like consciousness and perception, understanding the voice as the tone, or like the tone of God. So going to speak into a few different things. It's not for everyone, I'm sure, but if it even sounds slightly interesting, I would invite you to hang around. I do hope that what is being shared here can serve as a support for you, and maybe give you something on your journey ahead that you didn't even know you wanted or needed. So thank you all for dropping in. Thank you for dropping into the chat. And if anyone is here again from my Instagram, please let me know, because I sent a couple of people messages. I'm just checking to see who's going to be dropping in, to give everyone an opportunity and enough time, because I am running a few minutes behind here. And so I want to give everyone an opportunity to jump in. Give me 1 second, you guys. 1 second. Okay. Sorry about that. I went ahead and sent the link directly to some people. Okay, so welcome again. And again, for anyone that's new that's dropping in, my name is Aowasi. And I wanted to start this to speak into something. The reason why I was running a few minutes late was as I was getting ready to post the link, I had a beautiful sister, soul sister, reach out. And, she's got a lot on her plate right now. And she's making some changes. She's got a lot of major life changes that are happening. And there's, obviously anytime major changes are coming up, we have some stress that can appear, or fear even, especially if this change is something that's pretty drastic. A lot of times we're layered under umbrellas of our own stress, or let me say our own perception. And our own perception actually weighs us down, because we think and we believe in such a way that it actually holds us in a state of fear. Fear is an illusion of the mind. The subconscious mind is such a powerful creator. If you've ever worked with manifestation or affirmations or rampages or anything like that, the power that the subconscious mind can harness. And as powerful as saturation and repetition is, the one underlying factor for those of us that are undergoing, continual shifts, is that we must understand what those perceptions are that keep us stuck, in that fear. If the fear is coming up, it doesn't mean that we don't know that things are going to work out for the best, but do we feel that things are going to work out for the best? That's a slightly different nuance right there. Even with repetition, even with affirmations, if your core belief system hasn't fully shifted, then there's going to be parts of you that know but can't quite feel what they know. And that doesn't mean what I was telling her, what I was reminding her of, and what she was reminding herself of, is that there's nothing wrong. There is no such thing as right or wrong. We cannot make a bad decision, because there is no such thing as a bad decision. There's no such thing as a good decision. Every choice is equal. And so one of the things I'm going to be speaking into is understanding what our natural state is. And some of these things might be things you've heard before. And I just want to say that really quickly, but give yourself an opportunity to receive everything that's coming through here as more than just words. The voice that is speaking, just like your own voice, is a powerful source. It is a tone of creation, and everything that comes through here is also available to be felt, not just heard. So as you're receiving this, just as I was speaking to her, give yourself an opportunity to turn into yourself and ask yourself, what vibration am I putting out? I might know what I want. I might know that everything's going to be okay. I might declare it from a space of knowing, but feeling it comes from a deep ingrained belief system. And sometimes, like I said, I know, like, she's got so much on her plate and she's putting so much into this change. Sometimes when we are at this threshold, that's our biggest lesson. And so I feel like we're all at a big threshold right now. I know that I myself have been going through that. And if you are at that space right now, ask yourself and give yourself permission to really, really ask, have I listened to everything that my body's telling me? Have I really heard everything that my vibration is putting out? Because if not, we might be forcing and trying really hard. We might be claiming abundance. We might be affirming financial stability. We might be saying, I know it's going to work out for the best, but what's coming back is rejection. And if rejection is coming back, then there's a part of us that's internally still believing that it's not going to happen, even though we say it's going to happen, even though we say we know it's going to work out for the best. There is a core belief, a central part of us, that still truly actually does believe that there is a possibility that it will not work out and that we're going to have to force and try harder, which is why we do try harder, just in case. So that's where the fear comes in. That's where the nervousness, the anxiety comes in. Obviously, not only is it just because of the change, but it's the belief that's operating beneath the surface. So the reason why I invite daily check-ins with you and with everyone that I speak to, is because you're always telling a story. And for a lot of people, I know on this journey, they want it to be a quick fix. They want to have an answer that's mystical and magical. They want something to be coming in from the angelic realm or the cosmic realm. But the truth is, you can't even hear those messages clearly if you can't hear what your body's speaking to you. Your own tone carries everything you need, which means you projected yourself into this simulation, into this illusion of separation, and you have everything you need. You should never have to fight for what is already yours, which means if you're struggling, if you're having to work extra hard, if you're under stress, then energetically, vibrationally, you're being asked to let some things go. That's the change. The change isn't the destination. The change is what is internally moving so that you can align to the external space that is really and truly actually going to support you. So I would like everyone to take an opportunity, and I have a few things I'm going to ask if you would like to take some notes. I made an outline to make sure I kept this nice and as concise as possible. I would actually be going off much deeper and channeling a lot broader right now, but I'm wanting to honor people's time and space. So thank you for bearing with me. Thank you for those that are tuning in, and thank you for receiving. So first and foremost, let's look at this internal state. If you're taking on more to get more, why is that? What belief is in operation that makes you think that in order to have more, you have to do more? What belief is still operating under the surface, and it's happening through your projector lines? It's happening through your masculine lines. When you're projecting what you believe without being aware of what you're projecting, based on without an awareness of what your beliefs actually are, then you're projecting from a state that you don't even acknowledge, which means that what's coming out is a condition. You've placed a condition on your receiving and you don't even know it. Your receiver lines are powerful magnetic lines that bring everything to you. When you are in harmonic resonance, everything comes to you easily. You don't have any, there is no such thing as I can't, I won't, or it won't happen, or it's not happening, or there's no such thing as rejection, and there's definitely no such thing as fear. Whenever this is in operation, then like I said, there's doubts. Doubts and faith are not vibrationally a match. So if you're in doubt, but you're claiming faith, remember, you can't force the two to lie in bed with each other. You cannot force them to come together. So be aware of what you're projecting out. The biggest message that's been most available, and this is in connection with the cycles of energy that are taking place right now. We've been in massive cycles, 9 cycles. Obviously, the year is a 9. We have major things that are open to closing right now. So I know a lot of people define what's available for closing around like the eclipses and the moons. That's another thing I'm going to speak into in a moment. I want to invite you to remember that presence isn't scheduled. You exist as presence. You do not need a new moon. You do not need a portal date, and you definitely do not need an eclipse to show you what you're able to let go of. You should energetically, or you get to energetically, be aware of everything right now. And waiting for such a date to pay attention is like postponing your existence. So when you know that there is change that's necessary, why force change to happen? Why postpone change? Why resist change when change is so natural? So one of the things that I know is a tendency in this projected state for the majority of society is, like I said, if I want more, I need to do more. So how can we break the habit of doing more? Well, when we surrender, true surrender means I let go. It's not just letting go and letting God, because you are God. It means you're letting go of the need to doubt. You're letting go of the need to resist. You're letting go of the need to fear. You're not just letting go of worrying about what happens. That is absolutely a part of it. But when we surrender, we let go of feeling the fear. We let go of feeling the need to control. We let go of the habits and the behaviors that have energetically kept us in this cycle of consistent suffering. And suffering isn't trauma necessarily. Suffering is forcing yourself and operating from habits that do not serve expansion. That's suffering. It's unnecessary. You don't need to consistently you don't need to consistently repeat the same patterns if you can be aware of the patterns and shift the patterns. Everything is open and available for change. So when we speak of consciousness, we speak of an opportunity to know the self from a deeper state. I can tell you right now, even though this is something that I consistently work with others on embodiment, on shadow work, states of consciousness, I've recognized where I myself go more into the need to support instead of showing up in support for myself, because it's easier to show up in support for someone else than it is for myself. To actually slow down, take a moment and ask my body, okay, why is this pain here? Why do I feel discomfort and tension? Why is this certain area in my body showing itself again? And most of the time, we either take that moment for granted, or we think it's not necessary, or we want someone else to fix it for us. We want to consistently maintain the behaviors and the habits that we have because we think it's the only way to get what we want. And so we want someone else to give us the answers, but we're not willing to make the change necessary in order for the answers to truly appear. Because you see, the answers don't come from someone else. When someone reaches out to me for support, I'm not giving them answers. I'm inviting them into discovering the answers within themselves. And a lot of times people don't want that. I get that. A lot of times people want just to hear, that everything's going to be okay, everything's going to work out for the best. And it is. It always does. But if you're moving through a challenging state, would you not rather have the opportunity to not have to face that challenge again? Or do you want to just keep having the challenge and keep being told that everything's okay? So I feel that we would all like to maybe transcend the challenge, knowing that everything's going to be okay, but having the answers to move through it without having to return to the consistent visitation of it. So that would be a necessary suffering, recognizing that a lesson is available, but not giving yourself permission to pass the lesson. So if you check in with yourself and you ask yourself, okay, what am I being asked to change? What am I not giving myself permission to allow to happen? What change am I not allowing to happen? You'd be surprised. You'd be surprised at how many opportunities are open and available for you to step into that look differently. Opportunities are not going to look the same as they do now. They're not meant to. You're not meant to be changing the view, but staying the same, right? If I really wanted to work with the planet, I don't need to travel across the ocean to a different location to discover the magic of the planet. I can find that right here, right now. I don't need to change locations to discover the power that already exists. That's what I mean by having a different view. You can change locations all you want, but if the internal vibration hasn't changed, then you're just going to be cycling through the same lessons again and again and again. Hello, Fatima. Hello, beautiful. I don't know why it hid your message. I apologize for that. Welcome. And by the way, as I'm speaking into these things, if anyone has a question, or if you would like for me to speak into anything specific, please let me know, and I absolutely will. So I say all of this because we are all moving through. Thank you. I think it's because the X is at the end. I don't know why YouTube does that. I don't know why X is a hiding the comment thing, but apparently it is. So a lot of times people become aware of, let's say, their baggage, when there's like things happening like eclipses or certain planetary alignments, and they have attached that's the time of the year, or that's the certain and specific time that I need to be aware that cycles are closing. But if I make an internal shift right now, there's no portal date, there's no new moon or anything like that happening, I'm automatically closing a cycle. I'm automatically collapsing the timelines that give me access to those lessons. So this means that presence, you yourself as presence, exist in the opportunity in every moment to shift the dynamic. But as you've heard me say many times, we have this habit of bypassing and going into escapism. We escape into other spaces, other connections, groups. We do this to feel like we're belonging to change, or we're belonging to something bigger, without actually internally making the choice to shift who we are. I could show up and I could attend 15 different courses. I could make all the notes. I could have 15 different journals based on every single course that I attend. If I am not energetically aware of my own behaviors, if I'm not energetically aware of my own tendencies, my own beliefs, if I'm not energetically aware of myself, if I'm not aware of my state, my present state, and what version of me is showing up even right now as I speak this, then it doesn't matter how much information I've retained. I cannot provide that as a vibrational support because my voice carries my wisdom, which means you'll always be in a state where you need help. You'll always be in a state where you feel like you can't figure things out. You'll always be in a state where you're going to need someone to remind you of your power. The consistent showing up for yourself, that is coherent, that is alignment, that is turning the self inward and reminding the self that you are the consciousness, you are the field, you are everything that exists. And in this moment, if you show up and ask yourself, okay, what does my body need? What is here? What is my vibration transmitting? Then you're able to have a better understanding of yourself and the world around you. So I want to step into a few different extension points here. The biggest thing that I am really, really, really in the product of understanding right now is abundance. And this comes in relation to tone. So a few different little points I want to make here. Your voice is your resonance. It is your wisdom. It is everything. I know a lot of times we think of, like, when we hear the voice as the tone, we think of toning and we think of structuring toning in a very specific way to activate. I know I did. And I would even show up in these lives with that type of agenda, and wanting to talk about, okay, how do we structure the tone? What does it sound like? What tones are coming in? That is one way of approaching it, but it's not the way, because your voice already is the tone. When we talk about like energies and everything that's coming in states of consciousness, and we speak about, even cosmic and universal connections and solar connections, in order for a person to channel, in order for a person to speak and express that wisdom, in order for their voice to actually carry the tone of the wisdom, everything that I just spoke into is a necessary prerequisite. The practice of showing up and understanding of the self. Because if not, then you're just attuning to a stream of information. You're bypassing wisdom for knowledge. You are attuning to a system that retains knowledge and can spit it back out, right? So if we look at true abundance, abundance is the tone. It's the tone itself. If you carry an abundance of wisdom, you carry an abundance of experience, you carry an abundance of truth, which means that when you speak from that expression of wisdom. You're sharing a fountain of knowledge and a fountain of truth. This is why I love to get on and I love to speak, because it carries the vibration of my own experiences. Just as I've been learning and understanding how much I was conditioning my own happiness, whether or not certain things happened, whether or not certain weather was present, I was limiting my ability to experience true happiness by placing conditions upon it. Like, I need A, B, C, and D to all be lined up in order to be happy. I need to have a conversation with so and so in order to feel happy, in order to feel complete. But that's not true abundance. That's conditional. That's conditional emotional integrity as well. It means your emotional integrity is conditioned and based on what you have and what you don't have, which is still a 2D perspective. It's flattened. It can only see one or the other. Either I'm happy or I'm not happy. There's nothing in between. And when it's conditioned in that way, then it becomes very restricted and very confined. And that's where people try to force and control things to happen to them. Like knowing that I deserve abundance, but not being able to experience a true abundance. That's where that bridge is being invited to be gapped. Like the gap is being invited to be bridged. Because most of the time we are trying so hard. We're trying so hard. And the question is why? Because you do not have to try. Not in your true magnetic state. You do not have to try. It is simply easeful receiving. So one of the things we're going to do here in a moment is we're going to tune into our nervous system, and we're going to feel into what's present, because most of the time we're being controlled by beliefs and behaviors that are being projected, and we're trying so hard to receive something in return that we want, without realizing that we can't have what we want, but we can have what we need. If we're aware of what we need, that it's not overshadowed by what we think we want, and then we're not trying to force ourselves to receive something that we think. So I want to offer this. I would ask you to take a moment just to take a deep breath and drop deeper into yourself. It also is a good opportunity to open yourself up for deeper receiving. And I'm going to actually step away from the majority of my notes right now because I'm going to consistently speak into some things, but I want to invite you just to take a moment to feel your body right now. Do you feel safe and secure in your body? With the words that are being spoken here, do you feel triggers? Do you feel like the fingers being pointed at you? Do you feel like you've heard it all before? Do you feel like, what do you feel? What is coming through? Right now, we are on the like we're always, I know as a collective, we're always on the precipice of major shifts, but energetically, there is a lot that is moving through. There's a lot of things that are closing. Our nervous system, we've been so defined by this reactive nervous system, this need to have, that we have viewed the material world as having something. The material world is about having, right? I need to have money so I can live. I need to have a place to live. I need to have food so that I can eat. All of it's based in survival. And when we talk about the new earth it doesn't exist somewhere out there, and it definitely doesn't exist in a state of force. There's no wars, there's no force, there's no control. And when we talk about love, what is love? People say that the new earth is love, and it is, but it's not conditional love. It's not emotional love. It's actually an unconditional state of receptivity, which means you are so open to receive that everything comes to you. You don't have to chase it. That is the magnetic currency of the receiving lines. That's the new earth. The new earth, our simulated earth has been closed. It's been a projector simulation where we've consistently been projecting our thoughts, creating a manifest world of everyone's thoughts as a collective coherence, but energetically at the same time forgetting what actual coherence is. Our coherence is our presence. Even as I'm saying this, a lot of things are clearing, so this must be clearing some blockages for the collective. And as we rediscover our tone comes from a sovereign space, which means we're tuning into the self. We're discovering what our true state of abundance is, and our heart is expanding to allow more to come in. You can't receive more if you're trying to receive more. Receptivity is, when I say full surrender, I mean you're not trying. That's what surrender is. It doesn't mean you're just like I feel like there's a concept of surrender that's like, okay, well, I'm not going to worry about it. I'm letting it go. Whatever's going to happen is going to happen. That's a very big portion of it. Don't get me wrong, very big portion. But surrender is that every single moment is defined by unconditional acceptance. You show up in every moment just loving the way things are going because they are going perfectly, because the way things are going are exactly how you define them. You have decided, you have transmitted, you have brought everything into you in the moment that you are experiencing right now to show you something about yourself. And if you're so resistant to what's here now and you're too worried about what you're going to have in the future, then you're not present, which means you're not surrendered, which means you're not receiving. Receptivity is a state that is consistently open. And this has definitely been a big one that I've discovered about myself. It came into greater clarity during this last hormonal cycle, my last monthly bleed, where I just had this deep realization that monthly cycles, based on some numerical and geometrical framework, were highly closed off. That I was feeling the way I was feeling in my body because I was not openly receiving what was necessary. My body, the cramps, all these different symptoms and sensations are not natural. They're not. I don't care what anybody says. They're not natural. Our body does not exist in a state of consistent or cyclical pain. That is not the natural state of the divine template. And all of us exist in a divine template. You don't have to download it from the cosmos or from the universe. It's a natural state of coherence where everything is perfect, everything is in harmony, everything is balanced, everything is regenerative, everything is always aligned. So when you tap into that, you don't have to wait to download it from anywhere out there. You're not waiting for some portal date. You're not waiting for some specific aligned moment to download your divine human template. It's already here. It's here now. It's always been here. But most people are shut off. We've all been shut off from receiving. We think we know what it's like to receive, but we're operating from a belief system that thinks it knows what receiving looks like. And because it thinks it knows what receiving looks like, it consistently operates from that state. It thinks it's in surrendering. It thinks it's letting go. It thinks it's in faith and acceptance, but it's also in fear and doubt and worry. And those are, I'm not saying those are negative because there's no such thing. Those are the aspects of the shadow. We welcome those. But if you're operating from within them, then they're not embodied. When they're embodied, you can feel them moving through, but from a state of neutrality, you accept them. That's open receiving. You don't go into them. That's disembodied. Your nervous system becomes reactive. You're anxious. You feel fear. You're worried, you don't know what's going to happen, you're trying to keep it together, and at the same time you're trying to surrender, but you're not fully surrendered because your nervous system is still operating from a reactive state. So if you give yourself permission to tune in, just like I invited you in a few moments ago, just to tap into your body for a moment, asking your nervous system, okay, so what is really here? And what is here? What's here for each of you right now? I would invite you to ask yourself that. Maybe ground your feet, place your feet on the ground, ground yourself in, and take a moment. Be in presence with yourself. Are you in fight? Are you in flight? Are you forcing your future to come to you, or are you allowing it to be in the presence of now? Take a few deep breaths and tune into that. Where do your thoughts go? Are your thoughts here now? Or are your thoughts in the past? Are your thoughts here now? Or are your thoughts projecting into the future? That's letting you know if you're embodied or disembodied. If you're going into the past or into the future, you're not in the present. The present is the only space in the body that exists. And so when you go into those two projected states, you're disembodied. You're going into what ifs, like what if I could have changed the past, or what if this happens in the future? What if it does? What if it doesn't? Or you're thinking about the past, you're regretting, you're denying, you're fearing from something in the past. That pulls you away from a state of safety and security. And the only way abundance is truly received is through safety and security. Safety and security is where you're so infinitely secure in your current state that you doubt nothing. Everything is always working out, and you don't have to convince yourself of it. You know it because you experience it. It's here now. And of course, now, granted, if that's not a natural state, you might have to work on convincing yourself of it, but do your best not to try to force yourself to feel that way. Practice it in the moments where it's the easiest. When you're laughing, when you're in an easeful conversation, when you're out in a walk in nature, when you're with your, like for me, when I'm with my fur baby Bruiser, always joy, which I'm always joyful anyways now. But it's an even more easeful reminder of my joy when I'm in that connection. So when I'm in that connection, again, it's just an easeful state. So when you're in that easeful state, remind yourself what it's like to feel that way. Remind your body, because everyone's so used to instant gratification that they're running to the next person to get the right answers. And they're wanting the next new thing. They want to know what, like I said, what messages are coming in from the cosmos, what federation, and that's great, but you could receive if you wanted. Everyone can. It's a stream of data and it's a part of your central channel, and it comes from a state of being an open receiver, which is exactly what we're speaking into here. So neutrality and acceptance, that's your state of receptivity. So if you can be unconditionally accepting of whatever happens, no matter what it is, then you're an open receiver. You don't see it as negative. You don't see it as something bad happening. And look at your emotional reactivity. What does it feel like when things aren't going the way that you think they should? What does that feel like? We all know that's a little bit anxiety ridden, or it feels a bit heavy. That's the shadow of the nervous system. That's where your nervous system is showing you all the beliefs that are contained within the state of conditions that you're placing on whatever you think should happen. So please tune into that. And I invite everyone to dial into themselves daily and ask themselves, okay, where am I? What's coming through? What am I transmitting? Because your abundance is the coherence of your existence. It gets to come to you. You don't have to force it. You don't have to chase it. It truly does come to you. And as it's coming to you, be just in such love and acceptance of everything that's happening right now, instead of worrying about what may or may not happen. So give yourself permission to allow abundance to be the richness of your lived experience. Allow abundance to be something beyond the material realm, but that shows itself in every part of the material realm, so that you're not just expecting it to come in a very specific way. Okay, my loves. So I would like to take us into a bit of a deeper discovery into the nervous system, if you would like. And I'm also going to express some tones to open the nervous system up. Even though I don't have to, the nervous system is already opened. I just feel called to add that addition onto it. Although I don't normally, I mean, like the last time I even attempted to do that or was going to do that in my group space, I actually didn't even feel the need. It was like my body wasn't responding to the expression of the tones, which was very interesting. And that's where it showed me that everything that had taken place, everything that I had shared, everything that was coming through was so deeply activating. And it really was. There was so much that came through in my group space between myself and everyone else. The realizations were coming from the sharing of my voice to begin with, which is a sharing of wisdom, which is a sharing of the tone itself, which means every word is activating. So I want to ask you to just simply take a few moments. Now we're going to go a bit deeper into the body. I know we've kind of taken a few pauses to tune in, but I do want to take it a little bit deeper for just a few moments, if you would allow. So I'm just going to ask you to close your eyes and just take some deep breaths. Settle yourself in. Maybe take your shoes off, let your feet touch the floor. Allow your sensors to sense. Give yourself an opportunity to allow your skin to expand. And just declare yourself, I am grounded, I am safe, I am secure. Anchor yourself into that state, because as stated, your voice is your source. It is. I am. I am my source. I am God. My spoken word is the word. And when I say it, it is, because I am. So I am safe. I am secure. I am grounded. And you do not need to find it. You're not seeking to discover what it feels like to be grounded. You are grounded. You're already there. And now I'd like for you to just do some tapping, opening up the nervous system. And please declare, I accept, I receive, I accept, I allow. That will expand my connection into the connection here, into the collective. Remembering your breath is also the tone. Receive your tone through the breath. Think of how much in your spoken word goes to the need to prove your worth. How much do you speak to try to prove something? How many times has your tone gone out in an attempt to expect something to come back? As you breathe into yourself, recognizing that you're giving yourself back that value, that worth that maybe you've attempted to give to others, giving it back into yourself. And as you do the tapping, give yourself permission to feel how your nervous system opens. With each breath, feeling the expansion of yourself. And feeling the acceptance that is already here, the abundance that is already here. It's already yours. But let's look at the beliefs that might get in the way of your actual experience of that. So I'd invite you to place a hand on your heart and a hand on your solar plexus. Reconnecting masculine and feminine into the body. And as you breathe deep into yourself, what is your body asking of you? Does your body want to move? Does your body want to express? Maybe you feel like a sensation of crying is coming to the surface or yelling. What is there? Give yourself permission to be aware of that. What is the first reaction that your body speaks? For me, I'm hearing a lack of love and attention, which I'm very well aware of. It's definitely something. It's also why I bring this message through today, as I have a tendency to give more to others than I do to myself. So allow the words, whatever comes through, allow them to be received and heard. I know a lot of times, especially for me, there was always an agenda to have an activation that was so mind-blowing and so overpowering, right? To blow, to bring the next best thing. But that's a exhausting endeavor to consistently try to live up to the next expectation, when the most powerful experiences I've had have come in just the presence of the state, the discovery of the self. It's where I've uncovered all connections to my oversoul, my cosmic heritage, everything, just by being here right now. That's where everything comes from. But there can be blockages in the receiver line because your nervous system is holding on to beliefs. You're projecting beliefs onto your receiver line. So let's ask the receiver line. Receiver line, what projected beliefs are blocking my ability to receive? Lack, unworthiness, unattainability, belief that it won't happen. You can even hear my voice clearing as I'm saying it. Belief that it won't happen. Polarity of success and failure. Acknowledge what's coming through for you. You can write it down if you would like, or you can just be in presence with it. Once we have an awareness and acknowledgement of what it is, we sit in a space of neutrality, just witnessing, observing, listening, giving ourselves an opportunity to hear what's here right now. Because what's here right now in your body is what's giving you an opportunity to receive a much broader bandwidth of anything cosmic and universal. Because cosmic, universal, planetary are all one. They're all layered based on tone and frequency. To receive the higher bandwidth with clarity, embody it with clarity, one must be able to see themselves clearly. Who am I right now? Who am I? Because then I don't project it outwards. I don't label it in a title. I don't attempt to live up to a status. I don't force myself into an agenda. I don't try to fit into a box. That's the sovereign, that is the sovereignty right there. The sovereign tone of authority is that I'm not lured, if you will, into bypassing. I'm not seeking someone to tell me what's here right now, because I'm aware right now of what's here right now. Because what's here is here. It's not out there somewhere. It's here. And feel what comes through when you hear those words. Did you have a sense of sadness? Did you have some anger, maybe some anxiety? Did you have hotness in the body, coldness in the body? What sensations is your nervous system relaying to you? And once you're aware of that, just breathe back into the body. Placing your hands on your body, feeling your sensations, feeling the sensation of yourself, telling yourself how safe it is right now, how secure you are right now, how everything is here right now. The peace that you're seeking, the prosperity that you're seeking, it's here right now. Don't just claim it, experience it. Open yourself up to that opportunity that it is here right now. It's here. It lives in you. And as you take a few deep breaths, feeling yourself expand, ask yourself what story is connected to the words. I'm hearing shame and guilt. Shame connected to the family line, guilt connected to the family line. Not living up to the familial or societal expectations, that's definitely present. Not appearing to fulfill the standards, carrying the weight of that familial expectation. And feeling like I'm going to let people down if I don't live up to that expectation, right? That definitely shows up. And just be aware of everything that comes to the surface. And then give yourself permission to just unconditionally accept all of it. That it's okay, that none of that is bad. It never has been bad. There's never been good or bad. Your shadow is the depth of your embodiment. It's what your character, it's where your character lives. It's where your character explores itself, hidden, but still exploring. And all those parts of you are asking is to simply be witnessed, nothing else. They just want to be seen. And once you're aware of them, once they have been witnessed, then you don't go through the process of projecting them onto other people. You don't go through the process of projecting it outwards. You're receiving yourself, and you're receiving yourself unconditionally. Asking myself, what expectations am I trying to live up to? Why do I feel those expectations are necessary? And when I know that shame and guilt is an opportunity, do I want to choose that as an opportunity to go into, to experience, or maybe choosing just neutrality and acceptance? I don't have to go into feeling a certain way. I can simply just be in witness and observation and experience. Now, I am going to go through opening and expressing some tones. I do want to review a few things really quickly. The left side receiver line, because there have been so many projected beliefs coming from the masculine, there has been a lot showing up through the feminine. And I would like for each of you to be aware that a lot of feminine, let's say, masculine driven feminine cycles are closing, which means the feminine trying so hard to be seen, trying so hard to have something, and trying so hard to be something. Those cycles are, for those that are choosing, are coming to a close. Okay, let's go into some exploration of tones. I would just invite you once again to please declare, I accept, I receive, I accept, I allow. And just feel yourself expand. I'm expanding in connection to each of you. Opening up the heart space. We've had quite a few plasmic waves incoming. Let us harness those waves in connection with the tones to open the cells and to open the body. Welcome. You may begin by just humming or expressing, oh. Allow yourself to hear the tone. Allow yourself to feel what you're hearing. Just opening up the throat, opening up the body. Feeling the expansion. Each tone is layered. There are parts of it that you hear and parts of it that you don't. Parts that are mostly, or if not all, felt as each tone is felt. Just as the words that were spoken throughout this entire live, you get to feel them, not just hear them. And see what each tone feels like. For me, my name, Eowasi, it's a indigo ray expression or a throat ray expression. And I just love the way it feels. It opens the body up so nicely. And now the rocking comes where my body just simply becomes a wave. I'm also noticing that the heart is expanding a bit. You may notice some heart palpitations as your heart center opens and expands and vibrates at a higher octave. Curious if anyone else feels the rocking, because the wave is definitely it always feels like my spine just becomes water. Or you would swear I'm in a rocking chair, even though I'm not. It's just the way the energy is, or the way the energy is as me. And just play with the expression, just like you do when you speak. You're playing with your own expression, but you're also with intention. You speak with intention. Same thing. It doesn't have to sound a certain way. It's not about structuring it to sound, it's about allowing it. You just simply open your mouth and allow. That one's really, I can feel that in the root. I like almost like fire opening up from between my legs, moving upwards. Allowing that flame, allowing that movement. The throat allows the movement of the vibration. And think about that for a second. We have so many identity markers that are trapped in the root. Things that we don't dare speak or say because we're afraid of what people might think of us. That remains trapped in the root. It holds you there. And it shows up in what you don't like about other people. That's something that just dropped in as a reminder. Be sure that you are aware that you don't want to say things out of cruelty or to get attention. But there should never, we don't have to play from a space of secrets. That's what the beauty of this era is about illumination, allowing it all to come forward without fear of repercussion, because there is no repercussion but what you place against yourself. That one, heart. Whoa. It's interesting. It changed about midway. My mouth just shifted it, which is what always happens. I just allow the tone to come through however it wants to come through without worrying about how it sounds. That one definitely had a heart space expansion. All right, I'm going to open and broaden the range a bit here. So that one was from the root all the way up. Actually, a little lightheaded from it. And just allowing the sensation to be felt. You're just allowing your body to feel the movement. That's really, you know, some of the reflections last time, which are very akin to my own experiences. That it's like, for me, it's like going to a masseuse and a chiropractor. And that's what someone else mentioned after the last public live, or during the last public live, was that it was like going to a chiropractor. Um, you're just allowing your body to open and experience the vibrations. I used to place this agenda and intention on the tones. It was almost like I needed them to represent something like cosmic or universal in order for them to be powerful. But I am the cosmos and I am the universe. So therefore, I am powerful. I don't give my power away to anything anymore. I recognize that I am the power, and my expression alone is powerful, that I don't need to give it to anything. That is something I'm definitely learning. That one expanded the throat. So now we've had a good energetic opening and clearing, anchoring. That one's also definitely really good through the wing space, allowing for everything that was received here, every word to land, to anchor. And it also softens the body. It opens the body, especially if you're feeling any tension or rigidity in the body, maybe where some of those beliefs are held. I know for me, because of the familial regret, shame, the familial shame, I carry a lot of tension in my shoulders and my neck. I try so hard to support other people because I feel like I'm going to be a failure if I don't. And I'm learning how to embody myself fully and wholly without that belief, because there is no such thing. Well, actually, I celebrate failure, not because I'm a failure, because I learn failure isn't bad. It's no better than success, or success is no better than failure. To me, they're equal because I am both. I am successful and I've also failed. So I am both. And I don't have to go into that space of believing that I need to be or have to be identified as one or the other. So as your body is a bit more open and limber and allowing, just give yourself permission to be in presence, to maintain this. I am going to close this out here in just a moment, but I invite you to ask yourself consistently, who am I right now? What version of me is showing up in this moment? Is it a version of me that I want to see? Or is it a version of me I'm trying to run from? Because sometimes our own opportunities come from our mirrors, and sometimes we don't necessarily want to hear or see or receive the truth. So sit in witness with yourself, asking yourself those questions. Who am I? Who am I trying to be? Who am I trying to convince? Why am I trying so hard? Review your beliefs and review any feelings that come up. And that way you have an opportunity to consistently practice your receptivity and your sovereignty. Receptivity is this, like I said, it's this unconditional acceptance that expands itself beyond 2D perspective. The 2D perspective is it's either got to be this way or it's got to be that way. It's black or white, good or bad, right or wrong, failure or success instead of failure and success, as being both. And I can tell you right now, whatever it is you're trying so hard to grasp onto out there, it begins in here. If all of your time is consumed with needing to live up to the material, then you're not aware of yourself. And everything out there begins with what's in here. So please give yourself permission. Please, please, please tune in. Please ask. Please be in presence. Start with some toning if that feels good. Express the tones, open your body, and ask yourself these questions so that you don't project it onto everything else and then expect something to come back to you, because that's what happens. When we're not in presence with ourselves, we expect that something has to come to us a certain way, or we try to force it to. So I hope that this live has served you. I hope that you've been able to receive at least something, maybe a window, maybe a point of wisdom, maybe a point of clarity, and a reminder that all that you need to do is take a moment. That's it. Your entire life could change if you spend a moment in presence. That's you in presence, existing as presence, because you do exist as presence. Instead of allowing yourself to be disembodied by the past or disembodied by the projected future, stay right here, right now, because that's both the past and the future. It's here, right now. Instead of going there, be here, unconditionally accepting of everything, but also declaring if there is something specific you would like to experience. Give yourself permission to accept that you're going to always receive exactly what you are, not what you're trying to force. And if you're trying to force circumstances to match you, it's never going to come through in the way you think. It's always going to come through in the way that you are. So give yourself permission always. That's your permission slip to show up for yourself. Thank you all. I love you so much. Thank you for receiving, and I hope to see you next time. Adonai.